皆さんこんにちは and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So, I'm not too sure if my video will ever be out when I post this podcast. I'm pretty sure it isn't, but recently I finally finished filming, also writing a script and filming a video called Why I Will Never Make Custom Katana. But actually, this is a video about the topic that I actually already talked about in my podcast channel. I asked my sensei about what are the points to look out for buying the perfect katana for tameshigiri, and then my sensei told me that I really don't like that way of thinking or that question itself, and that's the reason was because my sensei believes, my Yushin Ryu sensei believes that the katana is the side who chooses as owner, and us people, the human side, doesn't choose the katana. So we need to be humble enough to be able to continue training, to be able to handle and properly use the katana that has chosen us. And by chosen, it's the moment when you hold on to a real katana and you feel the glamorousness, the beautifulness, and you think, oh, this one is absolutely it. That is the moment that you have actually been chosen by the katana. So I've already talked about this in the podcast, but there's one piece of information that I completely forgot to tell you guys. If I already have explained this, I'm really sorry. The concept of today's podcast itself is already over, but I think I haven't told you about this. And one thing I can absolutely say is that I did not include it in the main video that everyone else is going to be watching and listening to, so I wanted to explain it here again one more time. So as you see my videos, the skills of my sensei, especially when he does the tameshigiri mat cutting, is just simply really amazing. His accuracy, how much fast he can move, and everything, I'm pretty sure you'd be mesmerized by his techniques, and I am too, every single time. I'm like, how can this be possible? So Kazu and I, whenever we go to our training, we were always like, oh, because, Kancho, our instructor, is in a really high level, he must be using a really sharp, well done katana to do it, And that was something that we thought for a really long time, but that was completely 100% incorrect. Now, when I talked about this whole topic with my sensei, he actually showed me his katana that he uses in the training, in the videos that he shows up in our channel and such. And I was very surprised to know that his katana is actually super bent and very twisted and crooked. Especially, it's really surprising that his katana, from the root of the blade itself, from the very bottom part of the blade, is actually already bent to the left. And from there, it's starting to twirl a little bit, twist towards the tip. And I was very surprised. And the reason why this happens is because these twisting of the blade tends to happen when you fail to do the tameshigiri mat cutting. When you accidentally put too much power towards the blade in an incorrect form too many times, it starts to gradually bend and twist like it starts to spin almost, yeah. So I could see that on his blade, and I was really surprised because once a katana starts to bend or twist, it becomes very difficult to handle and cut. But my sensei said, it's my fault. It's my lack of skills and techniques that led to this katana to bend and twist. And he said, as long as I am able to sheath this katana, if it bends too much, you can't even sheath it anymore, right? So he said that as long as I'm able to sheath my katana, I'm going to be continue using him without fixing him. And I was, again, very surprised because I thought he was using the perfect katana, but no, again, because he respects his katana so much, and he respects the fact that katana, even though he believes that he was not fully skilled when he bought it like for a few years ago, the katana chose him to come to his place and to be used for the tameshigiri and also for the training, right? So in order for my sensei to show his respect and care and love towards his katana, he continues to use him, no matter how bent or broken the katana is starting to get. I was really touched. This is something similar to the experience of watching. If you guys remember, there's a famous and also my favorite, martial art, katana martial art. Well, not just katana. It's just all the ancient Japanese martial arts. It's a kobudo channel on YouTube called Asayama Ichidenryu. Asayama Ichidenryu is a style that has a YouTube channel, and the top sensei there, the top instructor there, also has a yaito, the training katana, that is very, very, very old and broken and dented and has a lot of scrapes, and the colors are fading, and it's looks like it's ancient almost. But he's been using it for more than 20 years. For more than 20 years through his vigorous training. And he still fixes it once in a while and continues to use the same katana. And I was very, very touched by that too. How much care and love these top instructors, the senseis, put into their katana. And it really, really changed my values. Now, also, not just his main longsword, the uchi katana, but also my Yushinkan sensei. I'm going back to his story. The wakizashi, the short katana that he uses to do the tasukani, the tameshigiri. The wakizashi is also not a perfect wakizashi for the tasukani. It's actually very short and it's very thin, so it's a very difficult one to do the tameshigiri. If you really specifically trying to look for a wakizashi for the mat cutting, you should choose one that's really thick and wide and long, just like the one that I have been shown in the Journey for Katana series that we posted recently. We went to Yushinkan and my sensei showed me one wakizashi, right? It needs to be that style in order for it to be very strong and very well at cutting. But my sensei, when he saw that wakizashi, he was like, okay, this is the one that I love the most. And he was chosen by that wakizashi, right? So even though it's a very difficult one to do the test cutting, he still uses it. And he actually intentionally, whenever he has opportunities to do, for example, performances and such in front of people, he intentionally uses that wakizashi a lot in his movements. So he chooses the kata, or the movements that he has to use the wakizashi a lot in order for the wakizashi to shine, he explained. And I was like, wow, that's a way of thinking that I've never ever thought before. So much humbleness and respect and care, and I didn't know, this is something that I really lacked experience and knowledge in, but I really didn't know that there should I say, humbleness and all the things that I just said, respect and care. I didn't know it was at this level. Yeah, so I was very, very touched, and I can't even find the correct word to express all of the special feelings that I had when I was able to learn about this. But anyways, I just thought that once again, studying Iaido and Iaijutsu, Japanese Budo martial arts, is just really, really fun and just makes my life so much better. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, one last thing before I end this podcast. The dojo that I go to, Yushinkan, actually has a dojo katana that everyone who doesn't own a real katana yet can use. So it's like katana that everyone uses together, And that katana, because everyone uses together, the sharpness is very gone. It's very heavy, and also it's starting to get a little bit dull. And it's a katana very difficult to cut. And Kazu and I, whenever we use it, we have a very hard time cutting things with it too. But the thing is that when my sensei actually had an occasion, he was like doing the mat cutting. He was like, "Can I use the dojo katana? I haven't been able to use him for a while." And of course, we brought the dojo katana to him, and then he started using it. And then the dojo katana was as if it was the sharpest katana on this planet. Again, my sensei taught me that it's not about the how well balanced or how curved or the length of the katana. No, it's about you training to become the person who is capable of using any katana, because any katana that comes to your hands has chosen you with respect, right? So my sensei actually definitely reached that level. The way he used that dojo katana, which is really, really dull and difficult to cut, it looks as if it was a Masamune or something, And Kazu and I really, really, felt sorry for the dojo katana, believing that he is dull. No, it's not the katana's fault. It's us. It's us. It's us that didn't have enough humbleness to believe that it's our fault and it's not the katana's. And I really, really respect my sensei that he's actually able to express it through his skills, not just his words, but also through his skills as well. And it really, really keeps me motivated to continue training, and every day, facing my katanas and facing Iaido is just so much fun. So then everyone, as I always say, the ultimate goal of my life is to make all Japan lovers' dreams come true. So I know there's a lot of people studying Japanese, willing to come to Japan to travel, study, or work, or even train our traditional culture and such. However, I'm very afraid that Japan will not be able to make everyone's dreams come true in the future because we're facing a lot of social problems, we're losing our traditional culture, and the younger generations who are supposed to be carrying on the good things about Japan are dying because of all the social issues being shoved against them. So I really want to dedicate my life trying to make Japan a better place. I want to try to solve social problems, preserve and evolve traditional culture, and also help out the younger generations so they can have a better future. And to do this, right now, I actually started a Ko-fi page, which is really close to Patreon. It's a donation platform where you can support me financially. Right now, I actually have set a goal to become a Japanese language instructor, or strictly speaking, to go to a school in order to obtain a license to become an official language instructor. I really want to make more content related to Japanese, learning Japanese in the future on my YouTube channel, doing live streams, doing videos, maybe even making a separate channel if I get more and more interested in it. So it'd be great if you can jump to my Ko-fi page to the description box or through the comment sections below, and it'd be great if you can help me out to achieve this goal and make it a reality. Okay, thank you so much for listening to today's podcast too. I really hope you have a nice day. Bye-bye.